Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Jedd Fisch, the Washington Huskies, really starting to get it going on the recruiting trail, landing two commitments that I want to dive into, talk about what they are bringing to this Washington Huskies program. First, we got four-star quarterback Demond Williams, who was committed to Arizona, flips his commitment to the Washington Huskies. This is a quarterback that runs an 11-second 100-meter dash time, truly a dual-threat quarterback that only 5'9", 175, has an absolute howitzer of an arm, very dynamic, going to be a very exciting player for the Washington Huskies. Want to dive into what he brings to the table. And then former Arizona running back Jonah Coleman, who, if you follow the Pac-12, Jonah Coleman was truly one of the better running backs in that conference. Also coming to Washington, two really exciting players. Excited to get into this one. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys and a shout out to the Washington Husky fans. And this has been a program we've obviously been talking about a lot the last couple of weeks, but this was truly a special team to talk about in 2023. The amount of support you guys continued to show really meant a lot to the boys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. This is a team that over the next couple of weeks, as Jedd Fisch continues to build this roster heading into 2024, we're going to be talking a lot about. So again, if you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into Demond Williams first too. I talked about Demond Williams when he committed to Ole Miss, and then he commits to Arizona, and now he's coming to Washington. So very familiar with Demond Williams, and really one of the more exciting quarterbacks in this 2024 class. And I think an under-recruited quarterback because he's not necessarily the prototypical size that many Power 5 programs want with their quarterback, right? 5'9", 175. I would remind us that Jedd Fisch just had a ton of success with Noah Fifita, who was also a very underrated quarterback coming out of high school, who was on the shorter end at 5'10". And we all know what Noah Fifita did in that Jedd Fisch offense. A guy like Demond Williams is a very exciting player for a couple of reasons. One, the 11-second 100-meter dash time, and we're going to see that on the film. Truly a dynamic player when he wants to use his legs. But make no mistake about it, he wants to throw the ball, push it downfield, throws an excellent deep ball, can really rope it in when he needs to, layer the football when he needs to. And then you look at what he's done on Friday nights. His junior year, just a winner, 23 touchdowns to 1 interception, ends up beating Dylan Raiola in the state championship game in Arizona. And then 2023 completes 77% of his passes for over 3,200 yards, 34 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions, and runs for over 1,100 yards and 20 rushing touchdowns. Demond Williams, truly a dynamic quarterback that has the arm to make all the throws you want on the football field, but then the legs to really kind of put defenses in a very tough situation. He can extend plays really well. Want to get into the film on a guy like Demond Williams, who, again, it kind of is just a box checker in terms of what you want in a quarterback. You fire up the film here. We're going to pull it up. One, you see the deep ball kind of on full display, right? This is a guy that you kind of assume, okay, maybe the arm talent and arm strength might not be there with the small stature. Absolute rope down the field, drops it in the bucket about 60 yards in the air, and then you're going to see him just fire one in, right? Can layer the ball, but when he needs to really fit it in there, fire and attack the middle of the field, has the arm strength to do that as well. Move in the pocket again. You're going to see the deep ball on full display. An absolute beauty of a deep ball. And again, in this Arizona offense that Jedd Fisch runs, you want to be able to attack all of the field. Demond Williams can do that. Now, here's special. This is what you can't really teach. Just the ability to make plays, turn a 10-yard sack into something special. And I love it because he keeps his eyes downfield, right? A lot of high school quarterbacks just going to take that open grass and run. What does Demond Williams do? Keep his eyes down the field, get it to his wide receiver in the boundary. The wide receiver does the rest. I mean, that is kind of the polish that you look for in a quarterback, and then you see him actually use his legs, and you're going to see that 11-second 100-meter dash time on full display here. If you're a linebacker, if you're a safety, and you do not take the right angle on a guy like Demond Williams, he's going to make you pay. He is faster than most players on the defensive side of the football, and again, that's probably what excites you the most. Again, working that ball down the field, throws an excellent deep ball, hits his wide receiver in stride, 70-yard touchdown. Demond Williams can do so many things that hurt opposing defenses. That's what excites you the most. And you see a layer throw between a tight window, not a throw that he can't make on the football field. Demond Williams, Not sure if he'll get on the field as a true freshman, but going to be a guy that is very exciting for the Washington Huskies in the future. Now we talk about a guy that's going to be on the field in the 2024 season and really going to be one of the best running backs in the Big Ten in 2024, and that's Jonah Coleman. Now, I spent some time looking at Jonah Coleman, the film, looking at some of the numbers. This was a guy that you kind of heard rumors of and buzz around as a true freshman in 2022, right? Ran for over 370 yards, 4 touchdowns as a true freshman. You said, all right, this kid could be special. In 2023, he puts a stamp on it and says, yeah, he is a special running back. One of my favorite running backs, not only in the Pac-12 last year, but in the whole entire country. Take a look at his numbers. 871 rushing yards, averaged 6.8 yards per carry, also had 25 catches for 283 yards. So this is a guy that is an elite runner, can make it happen out of the backfield as well. And you take a look at what Jonah Coleman, or I guess what makes Jonah Coleman special. 5'9", 225 pounds, absolute muscle hamster. I mean, this is a guy that has a very, very thick lower half. It runs and takes on contact extremely well. He runs extremely hard. You take a look at some of the advanced numbers here. I mean, on 127 carries, he forced 46 missed tackles. 640 of his yards, of his 870, comes after the contact. He averaged 5 yards per carry after contact. That is more yards than a lot of running backs just average per carry. And Jonah Coleman was averaging 5 yards after contact per carry, a guy that absorbs contact really well, runs extremely hard. You talk about a Big Ten running back. I mean, that is what Jonah Coleman is. He's truly one of my favorite running backs heading into the 2024 year. And one thing I'd note that I feel like doesn't get talked enough about when you're evaluating these running backs, and everyone wants to talk about breakaway speed and what they can do in open space. And Jonah Coleman, I mean, he has some breakaway speed and he can make people miss in open space. I want to talk about more of an important metric for me, and that is finding those hidden yards. And a guy like Blake Corum, as a Michigan fan, I mean, Blake Corum did exceptionally well for Michigan the last couple of years. When you have a carry, and it could be 2nd and 7, or you turn that run into a 2nd and 5, or you turn a 3rd and 5 into a 3rd and 2 by falling forward, by keeping those legs going. That is so meaningful for an offense. Jonah Coleman, I mean, truly embodies the hidden yards. This is a guy that is fighting for every yard, does not give an inch, doesn't fumble the football, is reliable out of the backfield. Everything you really want in a running back, Jonah Coleman has. And obviously with Dillon Johnson going to the NFL draft, the Washington Huskies running back room wasn't very deep. And you kind of saw when Dillon Johnson was banged up, there wasn't really another running back that the Washington Huskies trusted. Now you get Jonah Coleman coming in, who I think just largely and takes off exactly where Dillon Johnson left off, and is going to be a phenomenal running back for this Washington program. It's nice to see Jedd Fisch really starting to get it going for the Washington Huskies. I'm sure we'll have plenty more updates as Washington and Jedd Fisch continue to fill out this roster. Wanted to talk about Damon Williams. Wanted to talk about Jonah Coleman. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys again. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.